there, and welcome to the Second Lunch podcast. We have a very special guest today. I'm going to kick it over to Cole so you can introduce Nick Kirschner.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got my pal Nick Kirschner, who we worked together at Ken's Market in Queen Anne about 15, 16 years ago. We've got Nick on today because he's a very multi-talented guy, musician, barbecue genius / nurse. I don't know what barbecue chef doesn't sound like. I don't know what the proper pit master is. That the preferred nomenclature?
I don't like that one's even way worse. Just barbecue cook is totally fine.
Okay.
What is your preferred dead animal to cook?
Preferred dead animal to cook? It'd probably be a brisket, as much as it's kind of, which is a cow.
Yeah.
But it's a pain in the ass, but it's kind of like, it's always challenging. It's always a little different. So
What animal do you think you can get the most parts out of for barbecue?
the most parts out of?
Yeah.
Like a pig.
Pig.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
It's like you can get pig and cook it all. Cook it all. And
All those
eat it
people
all.
who think it's not kosher.
Are you referring to the Jewish people?
Yeah.
You're referring to
There's more.
Judaism?
In terms of that
When
term,
you say
there's
the
also
yeah, that's
it's actually the majority of the world.
yeah.
I think.
But if you say kosher specifically, you
You
really
are being
narrow the
very particular.
You're really missing out on bacon. At least.
Since you were asking about preferred animals, this leads right into the first question I had for Nick, which is, what is your most underrated and most overrated barbecue dishes? And I know underrated, overrated, that can be tough because enough people call something underrated. Is that still the case? But
I mean, I think most underrated for sure for me is turkey breast.
oh, really?
Just like straight turkey breast, smoked, super good, in butter, sliced thin. My favorite. Definitely my favorite barbecue thing to eat.
I was not expecting that answer.
Yeah. And then a most overrated, pork.
Yeah.
Pig. All of it. It's all overrated. Like I think, I mean, it can be good, but I think pulled pork is like pretty bogus. Not a fan. It's really
Right.
easy to cook.
Right.
It's just like tastes like sauce and kind of like pork.
This
Ribs,
is
I
funny
think, can be
because
gross.
my answer is almost the opposite.
You want
Yeah.
more pulled pork in your
Yeah.
life?
More pulled pork, less poultry.
No, I like pork barbecue. Have you ever? It's I guess it's a southeast. It's a Carolina dish, but it's basically the sauce is very vinegary.
Yeah.
But again, it's basically about what you're putting on it.
Sure.
You're literally just chopping it up into small little bits
Yeah.
and putting a good sauce on it. I've got no notes on barbecue. I can't say there's
I think,
anything
well,
overrated.
I think like Carolina is like really big on the pork, big on like whole hog, and I think that like whole hog is super duper bomb. Like I think it's really really good, especially if you can like bubble up like the skin and like mix that in and like chop it all up and make a sandwich with like some vinegary like mustardy type sauce. It's really really good. But I would say like run of the mill, if you're gonna walk out on the street, like especially in Seattle, and get pulled pork, I think it's gonna be pretty gnarly.
Right.
Not gonna be my favorite thing. And like, but you know, sometimes I crave it. It doesn't, to each their own. But that definitely overrated in my book.
And then I'm going to stick with the food questions. Since
You
it
don't
is-
answer the questions anymore.
it-
What is this?
What? No, these are the questions for Nick. I mean,
yeah, we're all answering the
okay,
questions,
most
are we not?
okay, I can certainly do that.
I
I would
love it when
say
you guys fight.
I would say underrated, again, not knowing much. I will agree with Nick on overrated pulled pork just cuz there's plenty of bad like Lloyd's style pulled pork out there.
Sure.
But underrated, I feel like I don't get enough sausages at the barbecue places.
Yeah.
I don't get like the, when we went to Terry Black's and you said you got to try the jalapeno cheese. Yeah.
Yep.
Like I got to do more of that because I always gravitate towards the brisket.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go two meats either. But
think
now that you've said it,
I don't know if the doctor would agree that I need more sausage in my life, but for the context of the
Yeah.
question,
Can you add salt, cure it? Yeah.
one thing I haven't had a chance to get a lot of is burnt ends. I would like to get more burnt ends, but I don't think that's really underrated. I think everybody.
burnt ends.
It's
What is this?
it's brisket that's been cooked. Nick would describe it
Yeah,
better,
it's
but
like
extra long.
It's like the fatty part of the brisket, kind of like cut off the top and then like chopped up into cubes and then danced in some little sauce and then I mean it is delicious. I think it's just like it's like a really like small yield like per brisket. You don't get
right.
a ton of it, and then it kind of fucks up like the rest of like brisket slices. So like in the Carol, like I know like in Kansas City, I think that's like kind of where it's from, and they do it there, but like they're down to like chop up a whole brisket and like dance it in sauce as opposed to like slicing it a lot of times. So because that's what people want, but it is really really good. It is, but it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, it makes sense though. If you're not getting as much of that off of a brisket, how much can you really
probably like 2
sell that
servings per
separately?
brisket, and then you're gonna kind of bum out some people on like, oh, I'd like fatty brisket's not getting sliced, like it's like ugly, the top's missing, like where's my bark?
Yeah, yeah, the juice is not worth.
So
the
you
squeeze
sound like
there.
a rub guy more than a sauce guy, or
I
are you
mean,
not a foot in either camp?
Yeah, I think they're both important, but I keep it sauce like. I keep them both pretty simple, I think that's just like, tender loving care.
Yeah,
goes a long way with it.
Your rub is mostly salt and pepper, right?
Yeah, Johnny seasoning salt.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah,
black
yeah,
pepper, Johnny
Johnny's.
seasoning salt, like a little bit of Lawry's. So
Okay,
like
yeah.
a little bit of Lawry's in there, but Johnny's is kind of the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife have and like our friend Jonah and our friend Melissa, we all got Johnny seasoning salt tattoos. And it's like it's not like
Very
the
nice.
season. It's on my leg. Otherwise, I'd show you. But it's like it's not like the seasoning. It's like the bucket. It's like the 5 gallon, like the 5-pound bucket. It's like this is what we buy it in.
The industrial
Yeah,
container of
exactly.
Johnny's.
It's, like, it's magic.
I will stick on the food questions. Since this is Second Lunch Podcast, what is your favorite non-barbecue cuisine?
Cheeseburgers, like for sure.
Cuisine.
Cuisine.
Cheeseburger.
Mm.
It's cuisine.
I
Yeah,
think
chef's
it's
kiss
elevated
on
to that
that.
status.
Yeah, I
All you
mean
gotta do is
nowadays
put a pinky
for
up.
sure.
There-
I love them. I mean, I like especially with like American cheese on them, so it's got that extra goo goo.
yeah.
Like I'm all about like, and they could be. I don't like big ones. Like I don't really like a big like whole like
Completely agree.
gourmet grotesque.
You need
grotesque
the
ones.
you need the proper ratio of veggies and bread to the meat.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I want to eat 2 and not feel guilty for eating 2. That's kind of like where I kind of draw the
I
line.
was thinking this today. He's a great guest for this question because I have a lot of food questions that come up and I want to talk to people about it. But if it's just you and me on here, it's like, okay, it's 2 fat guys talking about food. But
Yeah.
how important to you, if you're making a sandwich, any kind, including a cheeseburger,
Okay.
how important
Cheeseburger's a sandwich.
is the lettuce to you?
It's not super important to me. I can go either way with it, but the type of lettuce, like I'd kind of prefer like a shreddus like situation.
Okay.
But
That's Ashley's choice as well.
it's
Wow.
not like typically I'd probably go like I'm pretty light on veggies. Like I like onions, I like pickles. I kind of like an onion pickle mashup, like special sauce type of deal.
Do you like raw onion?
I like raw onion.
Hell yeah.
I
I
like
like
raw
a
onion.
crunch. This is where the lettuce
crunch.
question even
Yeah.
came from.
And that's the thing, and that's cool. I mean, I and like I kind of dance back and forth on like tomato or not because it's
Yeah.
like I don't know if I need it, but like tomato.
Sometimes
it
you
could all
get
be
a
good.
slice of that fucking thing. You're like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
insane.
Like, you gotta slice them thin.
Yeah.
You gotta slice them thin. I don't know who's.
I will say, 'tis the season though. For summertime is the time to.
Have a tomato.
Yeah, I think that's winter, a little depressed, fewer vegetables in my life.
Yeah,
But summertime, I need that freshness.
Yeah.
they taste. They're good in this. They're fresh in the summer too, right?
Yeah.
Tomatoes pop.
Chris, I think we've talked about this before, favorite food, but since we're answering all the questions, I'm going to go with burritos as I have in the past, although burgers are very strong. I probably eat more burgers. I think I just like the versatility
My
of
answer
the
might be
burrito.
different because I think I've alluded to Greek or teriyaki. I just made that one thing.
Greek teriyaki,
Yeah.
like a
Uh,
little spicy
I'm
chicken
gonna
with
go.
feta.
I'm gonna go Italian. I'm gonna go Italian. They have the most things, the most really fucking good things.
It does seem
I think
like
you got to
the food
narrow
that-
it down though. You can't just say Italian.
Well, you said cuisine. Isn't that a whole? Oh, are we talking? If we're talking like
yeah,
dish,
I guess we did name something that's more of a dish.
spicy chicken teriyaki. If,
Okay.
If yeah,
That's
if
not
there's
Italian at
that's a
all.
strong-
There's only. That's what I'm saying. With Italian, there's options.
Yeah,
There's
you're-
tons of options.
Yeah.
So many different pastas and noodle
Yeah.
things.
It's
God, first we started this episode, I wanted ribs. Now I'm on spaghetti.
Sweet spaghetti with hot dog sliced in it.
No, I
Some
make
Jolly
kind of
Jolly
spaghetti?
Bee.
I make kind of a spicy spaghetti. Actually, I know it's kind
yeah.
of a weird place to throw spices in.
No,
but
I don't think
No,
so.
I mean, I think
I like a
making-
little hot.
Yeah, like I think like a spicy like sausage, like mixed into your thing. There you go. Get a little
Hello.
heat.
Yeah.
Get a little heat. Hello. 6 to midnight.
I'm glad somebody else said it. It's usually me. It's making Cole uncomfortable with my sexual references.
All right, Nick, I want to talk to you a little bit about your musical career.
Okay.
You've been in a few different bands,
Okay.
punk genre,
Yeah.
psychobilly a little bit.
Yikes.
And you started your career on stand-up bass.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask,
That's
one,
so cool.
do you still play? And two, what are some of the logistical obstacles that come with that? I'm sure it's huge.
I
but-
gotta-
Yeah, I mean it's huge. I like started when I was like I think like 15 or 14 like playing it. I think like freshman or sophomore year in high school. And yeah, it's like I like couldn't drive and they had this like monster like and also like
You're just putting
fucking
wheels on it.
fragile, like super duper
Yeah.
fragile. Like the bridge on those things is just held on by like tension. So it's like if it knocks something it can like fall and then there's like a sound post inside and then that falls and then you're like it fucking sucks and you got to go to Issaquah to find some fucking nerd to fix it. But yeah, so I always had to get like my mom or dad to like drive me to places, and then so we always had to have like the right car that could fit it, and then
Right.
like friends' parents like often couldn't give me rides with it because they like couldn't fit it in their cars, so my parents have to come like pick me up again, and I like wouldn't ride the bus with it because everyone would think that I was a fucking nerd.
What is that, a cello?
Yeah, I mean, so like just like a lot of logistical like issues to it.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have frets, so I had to like actually like learn
Yeah.
like kind of by ear a little bit like what things sound like.
Why did you pick that? Why did you?
Cause
Or did your parents were like, you have to play an instrument. Here's the most annoying thing to move. You'll be off.
no,
it."
like my
we're not-
parents
Not gonna have
were-
to deal with
It's
lessons.
like a spiteful choice.
no, my parents were like not super supportive on like the musical thing at all. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like I remember like being a kid, like trying to like get a drum set like out of like the J.C. Penney magazine, and they wouldn't like do it. Try to get like a guitar, they wouldn't do it. Eventually got a bass guitar when I was like 10, but I had to like save up for like 2 years of like
Jeez.
to like get like a used one. And then when I got the upright bass, my mom was like, her and my brother like helped me like rent to own one or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they like kind of came around, and my mom bought me like one lesson because I think she just like heard me trying to like slap it.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
we need
And,
some
like,
initial direction.
and like my one of my older brothers was in like theater, and so she like after one of his plays like went up to a guy in like the orchestra pit and was like, "Will you please teach my son like how to like at least do this?" And he was like some weird jazz guy that had like one of those like Little Bill like hats that kind of would like walk around
Oh,
like
like-
that.
it's almost
And I was
like the
I don't
Green
want- this guy
Beret
likes- this guy loves jazz. But he like basically just taught me kind of like the basics of like how to fret things or whatever, and then kind of went from there. But I just wanted to be in like a psychobilly band because I thought it was really cool when I was like a sophomore and had friends that had guitars and drums, and I was like, if I can get an upright bass, then I'm like, we're there. Like we
Yeah.
have the band.
We've got the full image.
It's also just like most barbecue restaurants. It's like if you have a smoker that's big, like you're beating out like 98% of the competition. So it's like
you're the ska band that just found their trumpet player.
exactly. You don't even really need to be that good. You just got to do it. But yeah, but it was like a logistical nightmare, and then also just like over time, it's fucking rockabilly dipshits always wanted to like play it. Like we'd like play a show and they're like, oh yeah, let me try, and then people like trying to buzz off like strangers and stuff trying to play your bass without asking. That was always like a thing we had to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have it. It's bright green.
Yep.
It has a purple side.
Yeah.
It has
Oh my god.
It has bleeding F holes. It has 2 like shrunken heads like pinstriped on it, and then on the back is a giant tiki mask. So
I wasn't picturing any of this
Yeah.
so far. That is blowing my mind.
I've really considered for a long time. Like I rarely play it because the bridge is kind of like warped. When I moved to Detroit, we left it in my brother's garage back here for a while, and it was kind of like not weatherproof necessarily. It's like kind of not heated, so the
I
bridge is like, which is just like one thing. Like I could get a new bridge and be fine, but I'm kind of been thinking about like stripping like a lot of those colors and kind of making it a little bit more like
Orange.
traditional. Yeah, I was gonna go traditionally orange, a blaze orange flake. But like, yeah, but I don't know. Like I played it the other day and I was like, okay, I'm a lot more tired when I do it, but it's because it is like, kind of physically. But
if you would have taken lessons, I mean, like I don't know how classically you learn. Like, did you just learn it by ear? Did you like try to learn some online? Find people as you go. Like, how different is the style of music you were playing compared to what somebody might normally be playing on a stand-up bass?
I mean, I think like initially I like learned a lot of like kind of classic, like Elvis-y, like rockabilly songs. And I wanted to like play slap bass.
Right.
So I did that. I was like trying to like just like learn those types of songs, and I did it a lot with a guy that I played in a band with. He was like a really good like musician. Also worked at Ken's Market, Bill Molstein, and so he would kind of like like notes like that, and then he had a good ear, so he'd like tell me like, it doesn't sound good. You should probably play it better, and then like so I kind of like learned through that. I think a lot. I mean, back then, I guess I could like go to like tabcrawler.com and I'd like try and figure out like, people would transcribe stuff for like bass guitar or whatever, and then I would just kind of figure out how to play it on upright. But yeah, I mean that, and just kind of like learning like country songs and stuff like that. So it was really like a lot of standards, and then it kind of exponentially kept on going and going. But
right,
cool.
Sorry, I'm pulling this up. Staying on music, what favorite band can a person have that immediately makes you judge them?
Lots of bands. I'd probably go like I'd probably go something like the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah,
like it's got to be that
good one.
Dave Matthews Band, like kind of like Fish,
definitely Fish.
But and like like what you like, but I don't know. Like I have 4 older brothers. And a lot of them are like into like really cool music, but like oldest brother, he was like super into like Metallica and like thrash metal and like in the grunge scene. Next brother he was kind of into that stuff as well, and then also like George Strait and like Garth Brooks, and I was like, that's kind of fucking cool too. And then like one brother's into like really like West Coast hip hop, like gangster rap from the 90s, and then one that was into theater and like so Aladdin. And Disney movies, and then but they all eventually like went back into like, and now they're all like Dave Matthews Band fans, and by extension are like Coldplay fans. And I'm just like, what happened?
2 planets.
And like you guys liked music, but then
I got so sick of enjoying my music.
And then you stopped like exploring like I don't know your individuality. And so so I'm kind of always just like, I feel like there's like the dream died a little bit with like people that are into that.
You hit a certain income bracket.
Exactly. And it's over.
Yeah, you pay your taxes.
I guess I'm just going to like Dave Matthews now.
But that's the thing. It's like Dave Matthews Band though. You talk to people. I was talking to my friend about this actually, and it's like people that like Dave Matthews Band, when they like say like they went and saw like Dave Matthews Band, the thing that they never really talk about is actually like the Dave Matthews like show. They're like, oh, like no, we went to the show and we like went camping, and then like we were like here and there, and we met these people, and I was like, were you like, did a concert happen?
Ate some mushrooms.
Yeah. And then
I think some guy was on the drums. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did used to have a really
cool drummer.
Then
they call him Dave. Like it's like first
like
name
they know
basis.
him.
Yeah. So I struggle with that one for sure. And I've seen my brothers drag me to Dave Matthews. Drag is like I was like 11 or 12. They took me to the Gorge to see him, and it's like okay, like I don't get it, type of deal. But
he used to have a really cool drummer at least.
Yeah,
I played drums growing up, so I definitely when I listen to music, that's what I hear first is the drums.
No argument that there's not good musicians in that band.
Right, but the music is so like what's that one song like Ants Marching or whatever. Fuck me! Oh my God!
He wakes up in the morning.
Oh no! That song.
Satellite.
That song. When I hear it, I immediately just feel hate. That's all. That's the only thing I can.
I play that song as loud as I possibly can when my wife's driving sometimes, just because of that. And I pretend to be very into it. Maybe
it is sort of like a spiritual successor to I don't know Huey Lewis in the News or something. Something about it that feels
2 songs
like
you can
out of
tolerate in a
time.
bunch that make you want to die.
Die hard.
I think for me, even though I like some songs by this band, I think if you say it's your favorite band, there's going to be implications, and that is Tool.
Oh
Tool
shit!
is-
That was gonna be my second choice. That's also the other band that my brothers like and go see every year. It's like, and that, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You can like Tool songs, but if you're like, yeah, Tool's my favorite, it's like, I don't know why that's a breaking
Are any
point.
of these songs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they have beginnings and ends, but what happens in between?
They do. There is some meandering.
Though again,
So,
good drummer.
Yeah, very good drummer. Stellar drummer.
For me, my answer isn't Nirvana, but people who say their favorite band is Nirvana, those are the people I judge.
Yeah, that's kind of weak.
It is kind of a reflexive answer, like
Yeah.
AC/DC or something.
Say Soundgarden or something. Just
Yeah.
mix it up a little
Mix
bit.
it up. Do you feel the same way with like people that say like the Beatles too?
Yeah, like, okay, the Beatles. It's
Yeah.
the same reason I don't tell people Elvis is my favorite artist, because it's like, okay.
Because you
Who-
sound lesser than.
Yeah.
Like you don't like music.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but
Like
I
you do-
also
exactly,
at the
yeah.
same time, if someone's like, "Oh, the Beatles are my favorite band," and they can like, really kind of like back it up, like
Say
I'm sure
something other than Abbey Road.
right? I'm sure
Yeah.
you could back up why Elvis is like your favorite.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I like the Beach Boys are kind of like my favorite band, and
Oh, yeah.
I can back that up, like
Yeah.
in a go. But there we go.
How many Manson songs do they actually record?
I thought it was just the one.
I think it was just the one, and
Some
I think
people
it was just
say
they
none, though.
Well, I don't think. That's a good question. I just watched that Beach Boys documentary. It was mostly Dennis Wilson that had like the affiliation with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, good question.
Yeah, because Dennis wouldn't really have been the guy like running. I mean, Brian was the
Yeah.
one really recording everything. So, not to say Dennis didn't have access, but it is interesting. Like, what was Dennis doing running the recording studio for
Yeah, but-
his buddy Charlie,
Yeah,
for old Chuck?
I don't. Some of those Charles Manson songs are like they're not bad. Full
Not all his ideas were bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Guns N' Roses covered that song on Spaghetti Incident. So
Spaghetti.
What a
What
great
is that?
title
that's
for an
their
album.
the Guns N' Roses. It's a
Spaghetti
full
Incident?
full cover album. Okay, I
Very
think
visual.
Nick, this is this is a question for you that'll invoke Chris a bit. Do you wear sports jerseys?
God.
Do you ever wear a jersey with the athlete name on the back?
I knew this was coming.
Oh, am I about to get dunked on?
No,
No,
I didn't.
it's not like I
no.
didn't.
No, I'm not going to
no,
dunk
I think it's a
on
bit
you.
of a difference of opinion. I don't know about dunked on.
Okay. Hold on. What was? Can you repeat the question? No,
do you wear sports jerseys of any kind? And if you do you ever wear a jersey with athlete name on the back?
No, I don't. I do. Well, I guess I have worn like a Sounders jersey, no name on the back.
Right.
Got a couple times. I have like the Bruce Lee kit gift.
Oh, that was
That-
cool.
Grew out of that real fast. I've grown out of every jersey I've ever had. That's the only. But I think the last sports jersey with a name on it that I had was a Sean Kemp, and that had to have been in like '96 because I remember wearing it like
Epic.
dribbling the ball like out front like during like the Bulls series like during the
Oh,
halftime.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm fucking Sean.
Yeah,
Kemp.
exactly. Like 3, 2, like countdown.
Pointing at the guy
Yeah.
you just dunked
That was
on.
the last one I wore. So no, I don't.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
now take that snapshot in your life and the way you felt. Do it every day.
Do it until you're an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp in the front yard,
That's
34.
what you're. Yeah, when we walked up to the studio, you were
Dude, I'm freaking
dribbling a ball,
Julio
counting down.
Rodriguez right
Yeah,
now.
you had a
dude.
bat, striking out.
Working on my check swing
Yeah.
all day, man.
Everyone's pitching you inside.
If I remember correctly, the rationale is you don't know what an athlete's going to end up doing. And I think Chris and I both have Aaron Rodgers jerseys. That,
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. But
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the likelihood of especially like current players, the likelihood of them aging like milk is pretty.
oh, it'd be
pretty
such a bummer to
strong.
have a Ray Rice jersey. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Well, and
Or like Earl Thomas jersey.
yeah, I
like,
bought
that got
actually an
fu-
Earl Thomas jersey,
Yeah.
so that's a good example.
I don't
of
know.
one.
Earl Thomas is still pretty cool. I don't. What else did he do other than trying to have a three-way with his brother? That was.
I don't know. That's
weird.
pretty wild, though. That's pretty
That's
out
up there.
I'm not going to judge him. Not going to judge him.
But I think
What did his brother
flipping
look
off
like?
the team and stuff too, where it's like, well, that's the jersey that I have now. So it's like this guy flipped off that franchise. It's a weird one.
I loved him on the Longhorns too. I don't know if
Yeah.
he could ever hurt me.
It's
It's also not my team.
good.
yeah,
Right?
fair,
Right.
fair.
Yeah, I just liked watching.
You guys have a history, obviously.
Yeah.
A history.
Yeah.
You probably call him by Earl, his first name.
Hey, when I'm wearing my Earl Thomas jersey, I am Earl.
It's
You are Earl.
My name is Earl.
When I saw McGregor, or when I was in Vegas for McGregor Mayweather, I got a shirt for it, and it's like, these are the two worst people. In fairness, I knew that at the time.
Yeah.
So that was me just being a shithead and feeding into it.
I do love getting people gifts of people that like jerseys. I love getting people gifts of jerseys with custom names on the back that are of a different player that isn't on the team.
Yeah.
Like I have like a Wazoo fan, like friend who's a Wazoo fan. I got him a Seahawks jersey with Minshew the third on the back.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I also got a friend a custom Janikowski Seahawks jersey.
Oh, yeah,
before he was on the fucking team.
That happened to me with Milton Bradley.
Exactly.
I have a Milton Bradley Mariner again. That's a good. That's
not a
another
great
another
not
good,
a great individual.
Good point for Nick here. Yeah.
Though I
You
do,
should've waited
yeah.
on
I
that
guess
one.
I think there's a certain odd feeling of like adult worship though of like having someone else's name on your back that I'm just not comfortable with. And I feel like when I stopped being a child, I didn't want to
Okay, calm down.
Okay. Sorry. It's not a dunk.
I will say, I do think that there's something different about me wearing like the jersey of a guy that's like 11 years younger than me. Whereas like a guy, you know, wearing a Favre jersey, it's like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but
Yeah.
obviously I'm getting to the age where, you know, the truly elite players are younger than me almost
Yeah.
across
Oh,
the
yeah.
board.
Well, that's I think too. It's just active players is always kind of one of those things. Where it's like, we don't really know that much about him yet.
yeah, back in the
But like, I mean, like my wife has like an Ichiro jersey, and it's like, fuck yeah, that's like
Yeah.
it's Ichiro. Like, the guy, I mean, it's great. He still
Yeah.
throws like a first pitch at like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
yeah, some
From
guys,
right field.
yeah, like Griffey. It's like I feel pretty confident.
Yeah.
There's not going to be too many
he's
you know,
pretty much
skeletons
just
in that
a
closet.
hobby photographer now.
Yeah.
right? Like, that's cool.
Oh yeah, Randy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think that. Oh, I did have one more question for you, Nick, which was, what was your favorite prepared food at Ken's Market? I think it's important to iron this
fair
out.
food. There's definitely two.
Was it the quesadilla? Was that in there?
Yeah, so I mean, like my go-to would be the like that turkey diamante bread sandwich with just like lettuce and like tomato or whatever. I like that. But the Polo Segala Saturday only chicken quesadilla,
$5.
$5. Pretty kind of an expensive quesadilla, but like as long as you got it like early.
Yeah.
If it's been sitting under the lamp for like more than 30 minutes, that thing was absolutely
It's got a
char.
short prime. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that was my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I think quesadilla is my number one, but I'm trying to remember. I also loved getting the soup samples. I definitely ate a lot of the broccoli cheese soup, which I'm sure nobody was even making. I'm sure it like came out of a bag.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff came out of a bag or a carton.
Yeah.
Like the potato salad, I was like, this is so good. It comes out of a carton.
Yeah.
And then I've like as time has gone forth, I've like been at other grocery stores and like gotten the potato salad or like the pasta salad and be like, oh,
This is the same thing.
carton. So, yeah.
And Chris, since you're not a Ken's Market patron, I'll ask you the question a little
Just
differently.
grocery store food.
Yeah, hot case. We'll say favorite hot case.
Sticking
food.
hot.
Yeah.
For some reason, Katie's gonna get mad at me about this. We just had an argument about JoJo's or Mojo's. People call them different things. Potato wedges.
Mojo?
Yeah. JoJo's are definitely. I think JoJo's are different than potato wedges. They got the extra seasoning on them. Is my
Right,
argument.
they're a bit thinner, right? And
Yeah.
It
yeah,
is.
I
It is
those.
like a Pacific Northwest term, though. It's not. They're not called.
I
that elsewhere.
always end up with some sort of chicken strip from there, though. If I'm ever looking in there, I'm looking at the other stuff like I'm coming away with chicken strips.
When we have Ashley on an episode, I know she would answer this like pizza stick or corn dog.
Pizza stick.
Pizza stick, very solid. But you
Yeah.
never like the quality of the pizza stick is very like you never know until you get it.
That's
Like,
another item
Sometimes
that-
they're like the ratio of like bread to filling is very very misleading.
Corn dog.
I
I've
love
never
me a
been
good
able to
corn
get
dog.
on board with corn dogs, man. It seems like they're hiding something. I mean, they're
Not even
literally
at the
hiding
fair?
the hot dog. I can't
to-
do it. It
can't
just,
do it.
I had one bad corn dog.
Oh
and
yeah.
been suspicious
Yeah, it
ever
was a
since.
bar S or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll do it.
All right, headlines. Our education segment.
Yeah, sure.
Nick, this is our education segment
Okay.
called Headlines,
Okay.
where I read a headline and a brief summary of an article, if necessary.
Okay.
We go from there. But I think all us Americans know all you need is the headline.
Yep.
So here we go. Isolated for 6 months, scientists in Antarctica begin to develop their own accent.
Yeah, that.
Phonetic scholars from I can't even. Ludwig Maximilians University of Munich. They decided we're going to go to Antarctica.
Okay.
And we're going to see if we develop our own accent. I think
That was
we're
the
going to
purpose of
develop
the
our own
study?
accent. Yeah. My favorite thing about it is it's these people who are like, I bet if we do this, this will happen. They're trying to come up with like a scientific theory, and then they go do it. That would
Yeah,
be
no,
so
you
easy
need-
to throw.
There's like you need a control group, right?
Yeah, the placebo group that you
Right.
don't introduce to
Exactly.
slang
It's
terms.
called the scientific method. you
They
fucking
had some
geeks.
fun slang in here, like dingle day is a sunny day, and gonk for sleep. I think they just wanted to say these words. Like, I think they just wanted to invent a dialect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, is slang is so much different than accent. Like, you know, there
Yeah.
was like slang that developed around Ground Zero. That didn't mean like they weren't New Yorkers with New York
Yeah.
accents. Like, there was no. Like, we've got this group that's, you know, they're at Ground Zero all day and we can't even understand them anymore.
Yeah.
They're speaking pigeon down there or something. I don't even know. But that doesn't surprise me though. Ultimately, that if you're there for that long, it's like when Madonna lived in England for like 3 hours and then she came back with a British accent.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
very
studied
90s
her.
reference. But
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. I'm one of those people who takes on accents of wherever I am, too. If I'm in Wisconsin for too long, it starts going crazy. But
well, I think you have that in your blood. I
Oh,
don't know if you
God.
went to, you know,
Yeah, if you go to-
Barcelona. if you
Paris.
just-
Yeah.
yeah, Italy, and you're kind of bopping a boopy. You know, and stuff. Like,
What are you talking about? Dialect is only my hands.
It's,
That's
yeah,
the
very a
only
lot of
thing I'm picking up.
gesticulation.
I always like when you like if you like you do travel in a foreign country, and there's always like someone in my group that kind of like takes on their like the English accent of like we were in Germany on tour this one
Oh,
time.
that's really funny.
And then like he started like kind of speaking like how a German would try and speak English, and then like also like way slower.
Oh.
Where I'm like, I don't think this is helping them understand you.
Oh my God, that is
So we
funny.
go to like what we go to the Strasse. It's like what does this fucking say? We go to the fucking place.
It's not like yelling at a Parisian Eiffel Tower is going to like
Yeah.
get them there any quick. You know, I don't speak it.
I also like that these people went someplace dark and isolated, and like maybe human insanity just goes down the same path. Like if it's
Yeah.
not you guys colluding and just making up this new thing,
Yeah.
maybe you guys all just happen to go insane the
Yeah,
same
or
way. in
Your
the same
accent
place.
is just seasonal depression. It's just like talking over crying. That's it. I just don't want to get out of bed.
It's, yeah.
All right, this next one. Business class passenger who ordered vegan food received a single banana and chopsticks.
Okay. All right. The chopsticks is just I have.
They're like,
That seems like a fuck you. That seems
Yeah.
like a how dare you ask.
to me,
for-
I was thinking they're gonna be eat the banana quick, but if we put the chopsticks there, they might think they have to use the chopsticks for the banana. That'll take them a while to
it's
do.
just a bit of a gag.
They won't even notice that all these other people ate a 3-course meal.
I have heard that complaint from vegetarian and vegan friends that like you go to a wedding sometimes and it's just like, here's the
Thing.
parsley that was going to garnish your steak. Like,
Exactly.
I don't.
I guess
I
I'm
don't
not eating at
rely
this
on
wedding.
airlines to provide food ever.
it is risky business.
It is, but I would feel like if I was a vegan or vegetarian, I would extra not. I would
Yeah, you-
definitely bring something. Get something.
This is just a matter of trust. at
Yeah,
this point.
there's no. I mean, yeah, perfect.
Trust that
example,
it's like
obviously.
that they're not gonna because they won't have anything or because it will.
or whatever they have will just be haphazardly thrown together,
Yeah.
or just a banana with chopsticks. Like, yeah, it's just not very much food.
I feel like though, if I'm gonna eat on a plane, I'm probably feeling safer eating the vegetarian meal than anything else.
That's fair. You might be.
That
We're
is a
talking
good point.
bacteria, guys.
some mystery.
We're
meats.
talking back.
We're talking bacteriums. Anyways,
There
that's
might be enough salt in that food that you can't actually get harmed by it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's way too
cured in a way.
processed. Yeah, could be in there for 10 years before it goes bad. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like fresh foods would go bad faster,
Yeah.
and they'd be less likely to get rid of it because it probably cost them more money. And so that's how people get sick, is what I would be thinking.
Yeah, every time there's a snowstorm, you go there, like the produce just destroyed. There's not even broccoli. Go to the frozen pizza aisle. All the food in the
Yeah,
world, man.
This tombstone goes bad in 2056. All right.
Why are you
Good
guys
to
not
go.
buying this? This is, the stomach cancer. Sure.
has that been proven?
Jury's out.
All right, Cole, here's another one involving priests. The priests have been up to it again, believe it or not. Former priest arrested for allegedly spending $40K in church funds on Candy Crush. Well, they ran out of gold to buy?
What is that tax deductible? Yeah. 40 G's. I've had nightmares about buying a product that I don't need that costs money, like Dropbox Pro, where I'm like, why did I do that? And I like wake up in a cold sweat of $200,
Yeah.
embezzling 40 grand for a Candy Crush.
How did they not notice around 30 even?
That's got to be a commandment. That's got to be an addendum.
Thou
at least.
shall not buy stuff on Candy Crush.
Not with the parishioners' money, unless it's, well, I guess it's cool if it's like a jet. I think that's what makes it all
Is
right.
he like a youth pastor?
It's
Yeah, I was letting the kids use my phone.
Exactly. I had I had a bunch of tablets all set up for him. Sunday school.
He was playing Mario Kart Tour, which is a pretty dope game, so I won't judge him as much on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has formal charges. All right. Most of the misappropriated funds were spent via the App Store. Of course.
Cole, is this the first time a church has ever been found to be using funds inappropriately?
Told you we should have parked in that church parking lot.
Yeah, you're right.
You never would have known, man.
The Pope was on Team Nazi in World War II, so yeah.
Dunk on him.
Doesn't that make like two of them then? No, like, weren't there? There's the German Pope. And then
Oh
there's
yeah,
the
that was
Argentinian
the
Pope?
there was the
Ratzinger or something.
yeah, that guy was
Rapunzel?
he was a cardinal, I think. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he ran the like Argentinian rat lines.
Yeah.
But then the actual Pope was just turning a blind eye. Also,
I'm
maybe
not
having some
gonna
Nazi money.
I'm not defending any Pope here, but if I
I'm
were
glad
that,
you said Pope and
if
not
I
the
were
Nazis.
if I were in Europe and that close to Hitler actually running through places, I might be a little nervous. Actually, you know what? No, Mussolini was happening at the same time. No, fuck him.
Yeah, he was pretty incompetent.
you know
though,
what?
by-
Cole, I'm just gonna say it.
not a good fellow.
Fuck that Pope.
Glad someone said it.
Not a great guy.
2 thumbs down.
It's like that
Bad
Norm
Rotten Tomatoes.
Macdonald joke where he's like, the more I hear about that Hitler guy, the less I care for him.
I think he also had a joke about Albert Fish, the serial murderer, and he goes, real jerk. Right, we got one more headline.
We
Chris?
do. One more. Ohio attorney who was... okay, got to collect myself for this one. Ohio attorney who was suspended over poop-filled Pringles can has license reinstated. An
Poop-filled
Ohio
Pringles
attorney who
can.
was suspended for
Attorney.
defecating in Pringles cans and throwing them in parking lots.
Church parking lots?
Oh.
Is there an ideology behind it?
Yeah, exactly. What's his manifesto?
It's curious to me that it's Pringle cans, for one. That's really close to the shape of what you're, like, is he... a bag would have been easier. Something with a wider mouth.
Yeah, but
Disagree.
what's his Pringle intake?
I feel like you could hover over the Pringle can, you could spread the cheeks, and you could have a no hitter into that thing. No wiping required.
A walk-off home run.
Yeah, exactly. Just drop it right in. I think this guy's kind of ahead of the game.
Why put it in a can, though? I do like the premise, though, that he's like, maybe somebody's going to be like, oh, fuck yeah. Bag of
Pringles.
the whole thing of Pringles. Oh, no! What?
Maybe if he puts a new seal on the top.
Okay,
Okay, this is
maybe that's why he got reinstated. There was some thought.
Yeah.
That is a good prank. Even the judge was like, all right, you got to stop.
It's true though. When you're throwing those things, it's not like,
Or at least
are
don't
they
get
not
caught.
exploding or like, yeah? What are you doing?
Oh yeah. It says here too that he did it at least 10 times in various locations. So
Maybe
That's
the
a
guy
good
just
point.
has
Does he
big
put the
shit.
lid on it, or is it like when he hucks it? Isn't something when there's force on the bottom of a tube?
Yes.
Doesn't it like really launch
like
it?
centrifugal force, basically, like the way that a sling works, like the way that Goliath
It was
was
always
slain
in
by
parking
David.
lots. He was always thrown in parking lots.
That's what he says.
Yeah, what does he
here.
have against parking lots?
Maybe he just needed to take a shit before he drove home, and this is how he took care of it.
No, it says here
He's
that
eating a lot of Pringles.
It says here he did it to blow off steam, and I don't know. I've
Yeah,
been mad before, and that's
steamers.
just never been. Oh,
Hello.
Oh man, yeah, I've never done that to blow up. That's blowing off steam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shit in a fucking can. I swear to God.
Well, and then you
So
got to go to a
mad right now.
location. Yeah, I thought
I could shit in a can.
it's not nearly
Cardboard
as
can. The plastic top.
It's not nearly as impulsive as like punching drywall, is it? It's like a lot more of a thought out.
Yeah, think of what he could have done when he got home.
Yeah, take a baseball bat to some antiques like an adult. Shit in a can.
All right. What do we got? We got This Week in History now? I think we do.
No, we got Gucci or Greasy this one.
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah. This is a silly one for Nick. Gucci or Greasy, Nick? Men wearing flip-flops.
I think it's pretty greasy. I think that's greasy. No
What,
one,
men
no one
can't
wants
show
to
off their
see that.
toesies?
What's that?
Men can't show off their toesies?
I don't want to see it.
Don't
You can-
look.
Okay.
A lot of hairy
All right,
toes
that's
out
fair.
there.
I, you know what?
hairy toes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of the bare toe on a man. Not a fan. Just not a fan.
But
It's probably comfortable. I'm sure it's comfortable. Maybe it's my own toe shame that I need to overcome. So maybe this is on me. You know, I'm happy we're talking about this.
toe shame. There's the episode title. Found it.
Toe shame. I do have Bush's baked bean flip-flops, which I feel like brings...
That's
I
pretty
thought we were
sick.
talking about our toes, and I was like, "Where is this going?"
It's
Bush's
the
baked
newest
bean. Are we
thing.
shitting in cans again?
It's gotta record. That's a callback. That's a quick one.
Yeah, I should have waited.
It's even though I wear them all the time, I will agree greasy. Also, I have quite the flip-flop tan
line.
strip
Tan
going. Yeah, and I've had it for a good 6 years.
You do the strap.
slides, yeah.
The thong flip flop is really where it gets me because I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like you're trying to have a little
Talking about
sexy
strap like in the back.
No, just like the classic. You
I
just
guess-
kind
I
of
was gonna say that's not a
Nike
flip-flop.
Adidas.
Yeah.
I mean that is a flip flop, but it's I think of like the thong.
Yeah.
You know, and you're kind of like it's just
Yeah.
between those two toes, the big toe.
When I was
really
in Italy,
accentuating.
I got some advice, which was to not wear flip flops unless you're at the beach, because they'll laugh at you. They think it is insane. Anybody like wearing them around Rome, they're like, "What do you do? Rats are on the ground." They're like, "What?
Yeah.
That's insane."
Rome, didn't you guys wear flip-flops around this fucking city 2,500 fucking
were.
years ago? What?
We grew out of it.
They were sandals. They were sandals. There's a difference. It has a heel.
It's fair.
You know, I was coming into this thinking Gucci, and I was going to fight for it, but then I realized I won't like wear them to the store. I'll wear them to Tom Thumb.
That's
I'll wear them to Tom Thumb.
but you won't get like more than a
7-Eleven.
mile away from your house.
Yeah, there's a radius. There's a Gucci radius on this
Yeah,
one.
amount
I'll
of square
say that.
footage that you can walk in them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like sweatpants
Or
rules.
if there's wet stuff going on, water park, obviously, go for it.
There's definitely logistical exceptions. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Like
We're gonna double Gucci or Greasy this one. Gucci or Greasy, those weird toe shoes.
very greasy.
Thank you. They're so
Very
greasy.
greasy.
I'm gonna say greasy, but I have to admit I want to throw one on just to be like, what?
Same, but
What
you
does-
can't. Have you ever seen one of the guys wearing them?
No, you can't. Don't
They're
break,
all more athletic than
don't
me.
break the seal, man.
Yeah, and they've been on too many hikes. Don't watch enough television. Drive a Subaru.
Blood,
No,
pressure,
you'll get-
blood
you'll
pressure
get-
is too healthy.
If you try on those shoes, you're gonna get rid of your television.
Oh, man.
You're gonna you will break a seal, and it'll become your entire personality.
You put them on and the television just melts.
I'm like, I invite you over for fights and throw those shoes on and just go, is boxing ethical?
Yeah. There's. Our feet aren't meant to be in shoes, man.
Oh,
All right, I'm jumping into This Week in History. I think we've got 4 for today. June 26, 1977, Elvis Presley held his final concert in Indianapolis. What dead or otherwise impossible to see musician would you most want to see? Nick, we'll start with you.
Ooh. Okay, well, like, I would like to see. There's a band called the Sadies from Ontario, and just a few years ago, one of the brothers in the band passed away, and I never saw them with him, even though they toured like all the time.
Yeah.
His name was Dallas, and Dallas Good, hell of a guitar player, hell of a singer, and yeah, I'd like to see. I wish I had been hip to the band before he passed away. That'd be my real honest like gut reaction.
Yeah, fair.
But kind of a weird one. So you guys go around. Maybe I'll come up with something a little bit easier.
Mine's obviously Elvis, but this is another one of my favorite bands that when you tell people like it's one of your favorite bands, they're like, yeah, okay. If I could have seen the Eagles with Glenn Frey, that would have been really fucking cool.
It was a great tour.
It was cool seeing his son on the vocals, and dude, seeing Don Henley play the drums and do vocals is one of the coolest things. I have a huge boner for any drummer that sings, so that was awesome. I would have to go with the Eagles. I also, when I first saw this question, was thinking Beethoven. That would be pretty nuts, because I just want to see how everybody was reacting then, or if it's one of those things like the further we've gotten away from it, where like that guy was brilliant. Were people like, the fuck is this?
I know, like the composer Franz Liszt, he was like, it was like a Beatlemania type. It was Listomania was the name of the craze, but
Really?
yeah, people would go bananas when he showed up. But I don't know if the same is true for Beethoven. I think he might have been.
Didn't happen?
Doesn't have the same ring to it. I don't think. Too many syllables. I think for me, I'm choosing the Minutemen probably.
Nice.
Since D. Boone died in a car accident when he was like 27 in like 1985. So that's obviously would not have been possible. I also, even though I've seen this band once, I'm just pissed that they canceled their actual tour, which is Rage Against the Machine. Like, and they're not getting back together again. So 20 years from now when Zach's rent comes due. But
Right. And nobody's dead in the band, though.
nobody's dead in the band. They're just impossible to see, might even be a dramatic term, but very challenging.
But you have seen them, though. Which is,
Yes, I did.
nice.
Yeah.
That's got me thinking Audio Slave. That would have been really cool.
I did see Audio Slave.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
I
that's
was drunk. I
badass.
almost fell off the balcony. my brother had to grab me. I would like like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. I did see them.
Oh,
but
that's very cool.
I could see them again and again and over again. And then I guess like kind of going back, I would love to see the Byrds. The Eagles kind of made me think of like the Byrds though in the Graham Parsons era, the Sweetheart of the Rodeo era, or even like Flying Burrito Brothers. I feel like that guy had
late
had
60s psychedelic.
That guy had a lot more tunes that to give, but I would have been happy to see like any of the stuff that he put out before. So
Bernie Ludden was in the Flying Burrito Brothers.
Was he?
He's one of the original Eagles.
Hell yeah. Was he a guitar player? Can't remember. Who's that guy?
Yeah, that was when they were a lot more country in the beginning. That was kind of the route he wanted to go.
Right.
Oh, back when they were the Linda Ronstadt, or shortly after being their backing, her backing band. All right, I've got another. This is a silly one. June 28th, 1895. The United States Court of Private Land Claims rules that James Revis's claim to being the Baron of Arizona is wholly fictitious and fraudulent. Basically, forged a bunch of documents and tried to take 16,000 like square miles of land.
Got to start smaller.
Maybe it was square acres, but yeah, an enormous chunk of what Arizona was.
I like his style.
It's you go big or go home. What's the boldest crime you've ever attempted or committed? And I haven't done many cool things, so I don't have a great answer for this, but I thought it was a fun question.
One night at the Comedy Underground when I was managing, in fact, I think we're coming up on its anniversary because it was it was the 4th of July. No, July 3rd. So we're going into the 4th. Just a bullshit night to be working and a good time to get drunk at work, apparently. I was in charge of the money, and the door person didn't keep good track, and so there was some excess. And so I just gave it to the bar staff. So technically I stole a couple $100, but I was then very generous with it.
That's pretty light overall.
By giving it to the bar staff. So.
Trying to think. Do you have one, Nick?
Crime.
Crime. Just
I
going through the phone book.
I did have a friend I got caught stealing a DVD from the Queen Anne Safeway one night after drinking at Targy's Tavern, and the night but I got caught by like a guy, like one of the guys that was stocking shelves. He was like smoking outside, and he was just put it down, man. As I walked out, and I was like, okay, and I put it down, and then but unbeknownst to me, friend of mine who was also in there, he stole an entire rack of ribs that he put down his jean pants. So I was like, I was getting like, shook down by the staff, and this guy just walking down with barbecue fucking sauce going down his legs.
Oh my.
And they were good. They fell right off the bone.
Oh, and he ate the pants ribs. That's great.
Denim rib.
I wish I knew what DVD that was.
Shit. Yeah, I can't.
The
I
old
can't
X-Men
remember
2
either.
decoy.
It was probably like in the name of it was some Daniel Day-Lewis movie, like My Left Foot. I was like, oh, this is cinema.
Pretty shit face, and
Yeah,
then
I was like,
watch.
ooh, I'm gonna watch this all the time.
I'm gonna watch this guy.
This is Criterion.
Really struggle. Yeah.
Pre-Criterion.
That I've not committed many fun crimes. I mean, we ran from the cops a lot, just drinking in parks in Queen Anne, but they were mostly trying to scare us off. Couple beer runs, nothing remarkable there. I mean, everything Mike Finchen ever involved me in, I guess, would be the answer. But I do have a fun response to this, at least, which is to tell a Brady Wells story about the Safeway in Queen Anne. We would drink at my house down on 3rd and McGraw, and then walk up there. And he got increasingly bold with his theft. You know,
as one does.
Like, yeah, I start with like a frozen pizza, then graduate to like a whole basket full of rack of ribs. But one day he took an entire display of Tecate. So he filled up 3 shopping carts with this entire
Like he
display.
fucking worked there.
Yeah, he took 16 or so 12 packs out, and he had beer for a good month and a half.
Jesus.
That's brilliant because
Yeah.
anybody else would be
We're
like, Scotty must have gotten
We're
recalled
We're just trading this out.
because nobody needs
Came
that
right
much yet.
right from Mr. Anheuser.
Yeah. Oh God. That's
yeah.
incredible. So we had one Tinderella question we weren't sure if we were going to do, and I think we should now.
Oh, what was
'Cause
it?
I've been kind of thinking about it this whole time.
What is that? The
Punk rock.
Oh, I did have. So for Nick, how do you define punk rock as an adjective?
What? Oh man, the comment
question-
the comment sections on your you guys YouTube channel is gonna go nuts.
And on that basis, what's the most punk rock thing you've ever seen?
Oh shit. Most punk rock thing I've ever seen. We'll just go there. Maybe we can deduct an
Determine
adjective
it.
from there. I was living in Oakland, and I was at a house show near the West Oakland BART station. There's just some punk band. It was like a weeknight, and band's playing, and then like song stops, and this dude just walks in, and he's got like a full suit on, like tie. He's got kind of like a briefcase, and he just goes up to the microphone. He's like, "Hey everybody, my name's Tim, and I just got off my job at Wells Fargo, and I live here, and I just want you guys to really rip it up. But I got to get at 10 o'clock. I really got to get some sleep because I got to go back to work tomorrow. And but guys, have fun." And I was like, that's pretty fucking punk rock. Like, this guy, I don't know, like, is he funding this whole thing and he's just cool with it? But I thought that was pretty. I was like, this is amazing. That's punk rock to me, man. Do what you got to do, man.
Also, being at the punk show in a suit is more punk rock probably than the traditional garb. The stereotypical.
He could have gone into the front door and changed into like his like vest with studs or whatever he's got, but he just came right into the back door and he was like, "Hey, have fun.
Yeah.
Gotta go to bed."
Yeah.
I like that it was like an agenda item. Like he hadn't even gotten the mail yet. He was
Yeah.
just like, I'm gonna have to go make that announcement about needing to go to sleep.
It's been a long day.
It's
Yeah, it's been a long day. Guys, rip it up, but I gotta sleep. Yeah, I was thinking of, like, punk rock is like counterculture, and I think of bands like the Gits and how it was just like the whole point to them originally was like to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing with music. So I think of like punk rock as maybe the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So punk rock to me, for example, putting ketchup on Chinese food.
There's certainly a disregard for the law.
Pretty punk rock. Butt chugging, I think that's the most punk rock thing I've ever seen.
I think we might be conflating punk rock culture with like Jackass. Like, what Chris Pontius is up to on his weekends.
But no, I think that what he was describing is the most punk rock thing I've maybe ever heard. What do you think, Cole?
I would say seeing the Mars Volta get hit with a bottle of piss at Endfest. It's just something they were it was going on for so long.
If only it was a
It was like
Pringle can full of
2
shit.
hours into the set.
Yeah, and I mean, they were like the last band before Red Hot Chili Peppers, which of course,
Speaking of punk rock,
I desperately needed to hear a song about California, and those boys delivered.
teenage bride with a baby inside.
But yeah, somebody absolutely drilled the lead singer with a bottle of piss, and then
Like
afterward,
an open bottle.
yeah,
Nice.
and then
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was Anthony Kiedis, but it might have been Flea that came out and was like, "Hey man, that's not cool. If somebody does that again, we're not gonna play." It's like, you already got hit with
Everybody
a
throw
Oh,
piss.
yeah. Shit, we're out of bottles of pisser. This would have been the moment.
It's also like, once you've already been hit with the bottle of piss, like we already won.
Yeah.
That's a victory
I
for the
like
crowd.
I like that
We're
light
going
bulb
home.
moment because it had to go one of two ways. Either somebody's like, I want to throw something at him, I gotta piss, or they're like, well, I gotta piss. You can pee in this bottle, and they're like, well, now I have this bottle of piss.
Yeah.
You gotta do
Like
something.
the guy
with
pissed
this.
90 minutes before and was like, I'm going to find a garbage can. And then he just got increasingly more irritated and a little bit drunk. This is now a weapon.
Maybe this is how
I
the
also-
shit Pringle thing happened.
Maybe.
A
Yeah.
little biological
He's
warfare.
like, I already have a Pringle can full of.
I do enjoy though that like Flea had to take a break from playing Lakers national anthems to make an announcement about
No
how
more-
throwing piss is not cool. It's like I think they know it's not cool. But
There was a
we-
message.
That's
being
why we
sent.
did it.
yeah.
Like the guy's going to be like, oh shit, man, my bad.
Look.
I didn't know I couldn't do
Yeah,
that.
we're not doing this. What?
All right. Down to the last couple here. Okay. June 28th, 1997. Mike Tyson is disqualified in the third round for biting a piece off of Evander Holyfield's ear. What's the dumbest thing you've seen an athlete do?
Oh man.
It can be in game. You could obviously answer
There's
something like Brett Favre committing welfare fraud or something.
Athletes are
But
so dumb. There's so many things to choose from.
try to remember what athlete went bankrupt in part by investing in inflatable furniture.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. We need more of that. That's good stuff. Love that. Love that. Oh, people who are not educated on having money, having too much money, always funny.
Well, also, I mean,
it's horrible.
You're great at a sport doesn't mean you're great
With
business acumen.
financials. Yeah.
You look at the guys that have made a bunch of money after their careers, like Jamal Mashburn or something, who's made like way more. It's all just fast food joints. It's all like the simplest fucking way to.
Right. Nothing new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I was thinking of Deshaun Jackson at the 1 yard line when he started
Ooh.
celebrating and threw the ball back, so it was a fumble instead of a touchdown.
That's a pretty good one.
Myles Garrett hitting
Trying to
Mason
kill a guy.
Rudolph on the head with his own helmet.
Who's the guy that
sorry.
blew off his finger with the firework?
Oh yeah,
d-
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
That's a good one. See, God, why don't I have more of those? I was focused on the stuff on the field too much.
Jeff,
He played after that though, right? Like
yeah, and actually quite well.
Just with really weird gloves.
Yeah. Jeff Kent getting an injury on a motorcycle and then lying about it. Or was it Kaz Sasaki that got drunk, tripped on his own luggage, got hurt, the old closer for the Mariners?
Oh, those are always good. Those
Yeah.
are always
Yeah, I
good.
mean, and, like Kellenick like breaking his foot last year. Like
Oh
kicking
my
something.
god,
It's
yeah,
like, what are
that's
you
so
doing?
dumb. Yeah, on that topic, I remember Amari Stoudemire punching a fire hydrant or a fire extinguisher
Both
container.
hard.
Yeah, not
Hydrant
smart
or
either way.
extinguisher.
Yeah, but he punched like through the glass and cut his hand and was out for the rest of that playoff series.
Brewers have had a lot of dumb injuries. Devin Williams broke his hand punching the Gatorade cooler. Pitching hand. Punch with the other hand.
Yeah.
What are you doing? We had a guy get a forearm string from salad tongs. He was out a month. Matt Wise was the most annoying shit I've ever seen in my life. Ben Sheets had so many inner ear infections he actually had vertigo. That's not even that bad, but
Just
it's
like
kinda
what's
funny.
going on with
Yeah.
your life?
Jonathan LaCroix was packing his suitcase and his wife shut his fingers in it.
Not
gone-
your
gone
pitcher,
off.
but Trevor Bauer did cut his hand with assembling a drone, which is also kind of funny.
Yeah,
And then he tried
can't
to pitch the next
I throw
game
my
and-
slider with that one. That's
Okay, I've got one last question here because I know we're running low on time. And this one's very stupid. July 2nd, 1937. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan are last heard from over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to make the first equatorial round-the-world flight. Do you think they're still alive?
They flew into the freaking triangle, dude. They're someplace. You don't just disappear.
I'm just saying, 86 years later, there's a chance.
How old were they at the time?
Let's see how old Amelia was. So if she's still kicking, come on, phone.
She's dead.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Now they're
But
yucking it
the
up
guy,
in the Bahamas someplace.
There was a guy.
Yeah,
He's alive.
It's got to be the. It's got to suck to be the guy that died with Amelia Earhart, where it's like nobody knows that fucking guy's name. There's not a, it's like dying with Buddy Holly,
Dude, they're in Bermuda with the Malaysian flight people.
It's
They're fine.
And all of the Heaven's Gate cultists.
All right, I think that's us.
I think
That's
so.
it for us this episode. Thank you, Nick, so much for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
You'll be back. We'll talk about more barbecue.
Yeah.
Didn't even talk about him being a nurse at all. We missed it.
Save it for
Anyway.
next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Just follow us on the places. People aren't doing it. Kermit Apio's Instagram he doesn't use is out following us. Anyway, bye.